Okay, so let's talk about relationships for a second. So what exactly really is the difference when it comes to privacy and secrecy? Where is the line really drawn?
Let's bring in our intimacy expert here, Dr. Viviana Coles. She's going to talk a little bit more about this. We are going to play a game, so sit tight for that. But first, the difference between privacy and secrecy. Some people might use those words interchangeably, but you shouldn't.
I don't think you should. So first of all, let me just do a disclaimer. This is about couples who are not experiencing any sort of financial, spiritual, emotional, physical abuse, okay? So let's take that out of here. But there are so many things that I think couples do thinking that they are protecting their relationships, and they say, oh, well, I just like my privacy. No, you're being secretive, and vice versa. So let's talk about it and get the delineation out here so that you know how to talk about this with your partner.
Okay, so I know you have a game for us to play. Let's get into that.
Yeah, let's start with the number one.
Okay. Keeping the door closed while in the bathroom. Okay, I would say that is privacy.
Yeah.
Definitely privacy, and I think everyone should be doing this. I know I've shared this with y'all, maybe a little bit secretively before, just subversively. It's so important for you to have that privacy. Nobody needs to know how the sausage is made. You know, when you're plucking, you're waxing, you're doing whatever, we got to keep the mystery alive, people. Sexiness starts right now, every single morning. Nobody needs to see what just happened below the belt and then decide to do something later on.
So it's okay to go use your kid's bathroom or go somewhere else in the house.
It doesn't mean you're less connected if you're not talking while you're using the restroom. Like, that is okay.
Need some alone time, and that's okay too.
So important.
All right, number two, let's put this one on the screen. Not sharing passwords with a committed partner. That's going to be secrecy.
I think it depends on the scenario. If you're so specific that I can't have your phone password, my antennas are going to go up. But if it's like a work computer, I mean, I'm not going to really want the password anyway. It's not that serious. So
confidentiality, and of course, we, as a therapist, I know this. It's so important to have that. But we're not talking about that, Dawn. That's not what it is. This is when someone, is not willing to share. That does not always mean that there is something going on, but keeping things open and accessible is so important for trust, and that does come across as secrecy.
All right, scenario number three here. Turning off your shared location during a fight.
Yeah, that's a little messy. It's a little messy. I'm going to be looking a little crazy.
So is that privacy or secrecy?
That is secrecy to me.
To me, it's secrecy.
It feels like a threat.
Yeah.
It feels like you're saying you don't need to know what's going on. Now, again, we're not talking about abusive situations where there's an escape situation, right? But in general, if you're revoking access, then you're creating a division.
All right, Dr. Viviana Coles with the difference between privacy and secrecy here. Know the difference so that you don't get into any kind of trouble at home.
And let's talk about this online. Head over to Dr. Viviana on Instagram and we'll do a chat. I have a few other scenarios. I want to hear your thoughts.
Okay, great.
Looking forward to it.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yeah. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.